so excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Oh, hi, everybody. What's going on today? Thursday, lunch hour. Hope you're having a delightful lunch break wherever you are. Or maybe you're working through your lunch. Or maybe you're at home making yourself a nice can of soup for lunch.
Ooh, soup.
Mushroom, beef barley, cream of broccoli.
All things Dusty would never touch.
Interesting you bring that up, actually, guys. Very interesting you bring that up. And this is not scripted. This is how you know this is real. This is real lunchtime talk. This is real life. So you know this isn't fake. I've got some bone broth up in here right now. Some chicken bone broth. High protein. Little warm drink to sip on through the show. You feed the body, feed the soul. Little chicken noodle bone broth going on in there. No noodles, so maybe it's just chicken. But it's like a soup in a cup. It's like a cup of soup, a mug of soup.
That's fascinating.
Bone broth. It's
Do you
delicious.
guys like ramen?
I do.
Yeah.
I've never gone to a place and had it, though, like official ramen
Are you
shop.
kidding me?
Or no, I haven't. I've always just made it
Gager.
myself.
Okay. Lunch date, you and me. Yeah, I will pay without question. If you've never gone, we're get it in the calendar. I'm going to send you some dates, and I'm going to take you for ramen. And you're
Really?
never be. Yeah, for good ramen.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there's a ramen place near where I live. It's in the brewery district. And they open at 11 a.m.
That's where
And
we're going.
I have seen lineups outside.
Oh, really?
I've gone 2 or 3 times. And they're open, it says until 3, but really they're open until they run out of food. And they have a neon sign and it says soup. And then when they run out of soup, the word no
soup.
lights up above and they're closed.
Really?
No one else can come.
And
in.
that's you know what's funny is a lot of the guys in the Oilers actually go there, and it's my fault that they do. So that's my favorite spot. That's where I have in mind. And it started because it was actually years ago. So Kyle Turris, who's one of my buddies, one of my old teammates who played for the Oilers, and Cody Ceci, who's also one of my old teammates, one of my buddies that I get slogged on all the time for being way biased towards him. But we would go there. I'd take those guys there because they loved it. And so they started really liking it. So they started taking other guys there, and it's just kind of, I think, stayed a thing. So yeah, you never know. It's a great place, but Gager, that's in my opinion, the best place in the city for it.
All right.
We'll go. And we'll be
I don't
on
even
lunch
know
on
what
me.
it's called. I just call it soup or no
Tokiwa.
soup. Yeah, right. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
Tokiwa
guys
ramen.
know.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember if you guys Gage or met them or not, but my cousins from Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
Were in,
Yeah.
so I took them there with a couple cousins that live here, and they won't. So there were 5 of us, and 3 of us got there, and they won't seat you. They won't seat you at a table for 5 unless all 5 people
Oh,
are
so
there.
everybody's
Because
there.
and we were there like at 10 afternoon, so they're like, well, this is our busy time.
Yeah.
So then we're like, how far away are you? And I was like I said, they're literally parking. Then they're like, no, we don't seat you till all 5 people are here because
Wow.
it's soup or no soup. You got to eat your soup as soon as it's good to go. Anyway, this is not Edmonton soup talk, as somebody put in the nasty chat, or ramen talk.
Talk soup.
That'd be It is Two Guys and a Goalie. I am Reed Wilkins, in for Dustin Nielson today. He's off to work a CFL game in Ottawa tomorrow. Matt Kassian, of course, joining us from his home studio, and Joaquin Gage, the goalie, right here next to me. Of course, Two Guys and a Goalie, presented by GS Construction. They are hiring now, looking for experienced pipe layers, operators, topmen, and superintendents. Visit gsconstruction.ca. Did I say that right? Topmen, or did you say top men? I think I said the more Topman.
Yeah, I think depending on where you're from. I think a lot of top men probably work there.
Yeah.
So
maybe trying a British accent. Let's see.
I kind of did.
Topman. Sounds like a football team.
I feel like that's how you know how to say stuff correctly. Is like if you say it in a British accent and that's how it comes out. I'm like, that's proper English.
Right. Well, except for that line in Star Wars where the guy's like, evacuate in a moment of triumph. I think you overestimate their chances. It's a chance.
Chance.
Well, it's good to be on with you guys.
Yeah, it's great.
I know I'm probably even less focused than Dusty is when he's on. There was a game last night, and the Oilers lost 4-2 to the Seattle Kraken. I had the game on my laptop and was generally paying attention, I guess is the way to put it. The first period was not good from Edmonton. Too many penalties. What did they take in the first period? 4 minor penalties, not good. They allowed a power play goal against 5-on-4. They allowed a power play goal against 5-on-3. In between, Pickard made he lost the puck, fanned on a clearing attempt behind the net, and led to an easy wraparound for Winterton. I thought the last 2 periods the Oilers played pretty well. I mean, they had more shots, they had the puck more, they played with energy, and of course, yes, it's the preseason, so we'll see. But I thought Savoy looked quite good. I thought Howard. Like, he can make plays with the puck. I guess for him, I just want to know if he can do it in space and get to the front of the net. But Savoy, I thought, gets to the front of the net and digs for rebounds and stuff like that. So, I thought it was an encouraging game, I guess, as we get closer to the regular season.
Out of the limited time that I've watched, I've noticed that Savoy, and I don't know if it equates to just being playing pro he plays a pro game. You can see it, right? Like there's things that he does that he recognizes, and there's a level of hockey knowledge there. Howard, he's still a massive question mark to me, and he's probably a question mark to himself. Where how am I going to be successful at the NHL level? Because it's going to be a lot different when these games are done, then the rosters are finalized. And all of a sudden, you're playing against regular NHLers with a few years under their belt, and knowing what to expect from regular season play. So, and sometimes that helps players. I'm not going to say he's way behind the 8 ball. Maybe getting that intent, like there's a massive jump in intensity once the regular season starts from the preseason. So maybe that'll help him getting that ramped up and stuff. But to me, he's kind of, and again, I haven't watched a ton. I haven't noticed him too much, but I think he's still kind of trying to figure stuff out.
So would you guys say or agree with the statement that Matt Savoy is well ahead of Howard at this point?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's noticeably ahead. Yeah.
Way ahead.
Yeah. I'm not saying insurmountably ahead. Like, I think there's a player there in Howard, and they're giving him opportunities. I mean, they're generally putting him with NHL players when he's been in the lineup. But Knobloch too, and this is the one thing. I mean, they watch the game and then they go back and rewatch the game and isolate players and have their hours of tape. He always praises Savoy's all-around game, and he said in the post-game clip last night, he ended the clips by saying he's ready. So they're pretty confident Savoy is going to be on the team and be able to play all-round. And probably kill penalties too, right? Which I want to get to in a few minutes.
I don't like Cass. I know when Kyler Yamamoto was kicking around. What? I mean, Savoy's, they're not the same size, but I mean, it took Yamamoto a little while to figure that. Do you think that Savoy's ahead of where Yamamoto was trying to break in?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if I have a perfect answer for you. Not that any of my answers are ever perfect, but I would. So it's so hard because it's still so early in the career. But at this point, if I'm thinking like this point, early in the career, I would see my observational ceiling is that I think Savoy has more offensive skill. Because, and I was a champion of this with Yamamoto, and I still will be. That positionally, he was always really, really good on the ice. Positionally, he was great on the ice. Like he always knew where to be, but physically, the play style that was required of him, he wasn't able to necessarily out skill players like in puck battles along the wall. And so he had to try to physically out muscle guys, and in his stature, it was challenging for him at times to do so. But I think Savoy, from the way he plays the game and where he's ahead of where Yamamoto would have been at this point, is I think he understands on the defensive side of the puck or the offensive side of the puck, like trying to force turnovers, that he's not going to be a guy to win puck battles using physicality. Right, like he finds that balance, and that's always a challenge with skill players is when to engage physically, and like we see him sometimes going to the front of the net, and when to try to outskill on the ice. And I think his skill level is just a little bit higher at this point than Yamamoto's was, and hopefully will continue to be for Matt Savoy's sake. But I think he just has a little slight advantage right now from a skill standpoint, and it helps him, and it shows in the defensive side of the game. But it's a tough question, Gage. A really good question.
Yamamoto's 21-year-old season, just off Hockey Reference, where they assign an age to the season, that was the year he got called up and had 26 points in 27 games, which was pretty remarkable. Going by how they do the ages, this is actually going to be Savoy's 22-year-old season because he turns 22 on January 1st. So that's kind of what's interesting. At this age, Yamamoto had already kind of played half a season in the NHL on what, for a burst, was one of, if not one of the best lines in the league, where they put together Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and remember that sequence in that Calgary game where Calgary got to the puck, like I think it was the goalie fight game, like Calgary got the puck to the blue line like 3 times, and it was like Yamo lifts the stick, keeps it in, Nuge lifts the stick, leaves it in, Leon. So, Yamamoto, he had a 20-goal season. Don't forget, he had a 41-point season. If he could have kept doing that, maybe he's still on the Oilers. It's interesting though. According to I'm just on Hockey Reference. They have Yamamoto at 5'9". They have Matt Savoy at 5'9". Yeah, I have stood next to both of these gentlemen. Kyler Yamamoto is not 5'9". Savoy's probably 5'9". Yeah, he might even be, because I briefly said hi to Savoy the other night because he'd been on my show in the past, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, how are you doing?" And he was taller, maybe a little taller than me, and I usually say I'm 5'8". Obviously, as you know, Gager, I'm not a large gentleman. Yeah. So that was like
huge personality,
but like size wise, there's no comparison because there's no way Yamamoto's 5'9". I think he was 5'6".
He looked like
is 5'6". Yeah.
Yeah. He. So that's why I looked at their stats, like their physical stats, and I go, okay, they're similar, but I'm trying to remember when Yamo first came in, there was something there. Like you could see it, and he wasn't afraid, and that ability to kind of be that, obviously not dominate physically, but he did throw some hits, and I think it was more so guys weren't prepared to get hit like that, right? From a guy that was that size. Right. And I think he caught a lot of guys off guard and he played like, and most of the time, who was the coach at that time? Was it? He said he played with inside guys' equipment a lot, and that's what he enjoyed.
Todd used that phrase. Yeah, but Yamamoto's best that good season was under Tip.
Was it? Oh, was it?
Because remember,
it was too.
He got called up, I think, for that New Year's Eve game against the Rangers. I think that was one where they almost blew the big lead. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, and he put Yamamoto out in the final minute with a 1-goal lead. Mm-hmm. And then we asked Tip about that after the game, and he's like, "Well, no one else could get a stop." Yeah. And I watched tapes of him in Bakersfield, and he was out when the other team pulled the goalie. So I put him out and gave him a chance. And I think he set up Jujar Kara. Remember him for an empty netter. Memory lane. So but Savoy's. I agree with you guys. Savoy has been more impactful than Howard. Now, having said that, Howard's probably going to be on the NHL roster to start the season.
Probably.
And I wonder,
really he should be. He should be. But I want to hear your question. Then I got another question for you guys, Reed.
Well, I was gonna meander a little bit because I'm wondering too, if they're gonna keep Regula, which I think they should, and then they also keep Stetcher. and I love this guy personally, but hockey's a business. Like, I wonder if Curtis Lazar gets sent down. Because if Tomasek is here, Savoy and Howard, Podkolzin has already come back from the loss of his father. They're going to have to go 13-8. And then who else would you send down if you're keeping the guys with limited or no NHL experience?
I think they lean more so towards keeping the extra forward than the extra D.
Think they'd go 14?
Yep.
Think they'd put Stetzer down?
I don't know why.
Here's I got some justification for why, because I agree with that. I think the Oilers are probably going to be looking, because it just happened. If you're watching the waiver wire, another local product in Tyson Jost was snatched up off of waivers from the Carolina Hurricanes by the Nashville Predators, and Lazar kind of fits a similar bill to that. A guy that can play center, that can kill penalties, that you can kind of move around your lineup, that can play in and out of the lineup if you need. And I think the Oilers are probably looking at that and going, like, if we put Lazar on waivers, he's gone. It's not a heavy contract hit. I think if you put him on waivers, he's gone. And I don't think the same would be said for like a Stetcher. Like, I can't. So maybe they do, maybe they take that chance, but I would lean away from Lazar being the guy to get put on waivers. And the answer to it, guys, might be because sometimes waivers dictates decision. Sometimes contracts dictate decision. It is possible that Howard could start. I agree he most likely starts in the NHL, but it is possible that he's the guy that gets sent down first until they sort out exactly what the D is going to look like, and then maybe he gets called back up.
And that could be the best scenario for him, really, right? Go down, and because let's face it, his minutes will be sheltered to start the season up here. It's not like he'll be, I don't think, jumping into 18 minutes a night or anything like that. Just to get your beak wet with some pro experience before you get called up. And I kind of agree with you too, Cass. I mean, that's a really good point, especially when you look around the league right now and see the little bumps and bruises to guys, right? So this could be a team just going, you know what? We've got this guy. I don't know if he's going to be ready to start. Let's just make sure we have an extra body with some experience that we can plug and play, and we know he's capable of doing certain things that we might need.
Reed, I got a question for you on this. Sure. Is with Howard, how many minutes do you think does he have to play a night, like average, for it to be worth it for him to be in Edmonton?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I always think at least 12 for a forward. Like, you got to play 20% of the game, don't you?
You got to go north of 10 for sure, I'm thinking. I mean, even 10's even low, right? You want them, I would say 12 minutes would be perfect to start and see. Because if it drops down below 10 and you're hovering around that 7-8 mark, what are you doing? You're chipping away at the confidence level of a Hobie Baker winner, right? You want to try to keep that train moving on the confidence side of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I just wonder. I mean, maybe, and there's Max Jones hovering around here too, because there's 15 forwards on the roster. McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederick, Nugent Hopkins, Mangiapane, Podkolzin, Henrique, Savoy, Kapanen, Phil Howard, Tomasek, Jones, Lazar, Janmark. So, I mean, you want Howard to play. You don't want him to be a regular healthy scratch. I mean, maybe some games, maybe he'd be the 13th guy.
Does he start on the ice or does he start in the press box? Like, it's not been like we said, Savoy looks like a guy that you want to see how he does against a full lineup. But Howard, great goal. I'll give him that. But has he done enough in these games? I guess we'll see. I mean, there's one more game. If he can have a good game and do something that catches, I guess, Knoblauch's eyes, maybe then. But I don't know. I haven't, and I shouldn't probably be commenting this because I haven't watched a ton. But what I've seen, I don't think he warrants. Has he earned a spot from camp to start game 1 next week against the Flames?
Howard?
Yeah.
What about Phil? What do you guys think? He's
like
played
Phil
well enough, but do you think he's a guy that they say, hey, maybe we clear waivers with this guy and send him down?
No, I think Philp's on the team.
Do you Philp has to clear waivers now, though, right?
Yep.
So I think you would be just watching him play, and maybe it's just me, I would be more concerned of losing him on the waivers than Lazar.
Philp's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to work on his. He had one really bad face-off game. The rest have been. What did he get to? Well, he was one of the sick guys last night. But I mean, it's only the preseason. But I think for some of those players lower down in the lineup, like he did have 2 assists in one game and a goal in another game.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can say it's only the preseason, but he's in one of those positions where you got to show something.
Yeah.
You got to stand out. So the fact that he created chances and finished a chance, I think serves him well. I think he's played better than Curtis, quite frankly.
Sure.
So I think Philp's on the team, Cass. To me, that's. I mean, I maybe had him in dark pencil before training camp. I got him in pen now. I think he's done enough to be on the roster for sure.
Plays well next game, Sharpie.
Yeah, then I go
right
I
to
call
Sharpie.
William Huff and get them to print up one of those big big heads.
Top line with Tomasek for sure.
Yeah.
First line.
By the way, you can post in the nasty chat. Oh, I got to check the text as well. You can text us at 780-218-9999. If you're on YouTube, you can post in the nasty chat and chat with us there. Give us a thumbs up if you're there as well. Send in your questions, comments, concerns, humorous anecdotes for me and the boys here as we take you through 2 Guys and a Goalie for GS Construction. Okay, am I in the messages? No, I'm not in the messages. Hang on. I'm such a clumsy little...
That message.
Troll says it would be nice if Savoy could turn into Braden Point Light instead of Yamamoto. Well, that would be amazing.
That'd be unbelievable. What is Braden Point Light?
Yamamoto.
What is Braden Point Light? That's a really good player.
Yeah. Well, that means you're almost like Braden Point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the second line scoring
Yeah, I guess.
forward?
I mean, what if? Yeah. Well, what if we, to use an Oiler? Wouldn't you want Savoy to be Zach Hyman Light?
Ooh. Zach Hyman's kind of a unicorn, though.
He is a unicorn. The guy that kind of does it all. Skilled, scores goals, gets in the corners, can run people, adaptable from a game standpoint. But you know what? The thing is Savoy's got some of those tools. Now, I don't know if physically he'd ever be quite at the level that Hyman's at in terms of actually hitting guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think Hyman's that much bigger than him, height-wise, anyways.
Hyman's what, 6'2"?
Hyman's pretty
He's not
solid.
6'2". He's not
I don't know
6'2",
what they
is he?
have his height list. Some of these heights, like how can you trust them?
You
We should
don't,
all
you
go
can't.
we should go
measured?
to an NHL camp and get measured. I'd be 6'1". They got Hyman at 6'1", 206 on Hockey Reference.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably
Okay, so maybe he's
feet.
bigger.
Standing
he's-
next to him,
he's
I
6
thought he
feet,
was
yeah.
my
Okay.
height,
So he's bigger than Savoy.
Yeah.
That way. I was just trying to
Oh, for
picture
sure.
in my mind. Yeah. Okay. So not quite there physically. But that Point. How tall is Point now? Because isn't he like 6'1" as well? Like, doesn't he have some size to him?
he
Just trying to
skates
think
low.
from a comparison standpoint. He just sits
Point
in the chair when he skates.
is
Sitting on the
listed
toilet,
as
I tell the 8-year-olds. Sit in the toilet when you're skating. They always giggle. 8-year-old girls. I'm like, especially when they're skating backwards. I'm like, it's like you're on the potty, and they all giggle. And it works.
Point they got is at 5'11", 175.
Okay.
Okay, so
So-
5'10".
So he's 5'8".
Yeah,
Or 5'9". Yeah.
So his last 3 years going backwards are 82, 90, 95 points. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
And then he had
Really
a
good.
92 back in 18, 19. I guess there were some COVID/injury shortened seasons for him too.
Cass, when you played junior, did Central Scouting come and measure you guys and stuff?
Yep.
When you played?
Yep. Guys stuffing socks in their socks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nick Vachon went and got high tops and put pucks in them, or like he
Yeah.
put pucks in his shoes to make him.
You see, you have
heavier
to take.
and tall.
They made us. They must have got wise to that because they made us. You had to take your shoes off. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
keep them on.
Yeah.
But you could have your socks on. Like they didn't make you go bare feet. So guys were quite literally like stuffing socks in their socks to try to get an extra quarter inch. Yeah. Story of our lives. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting seeing the heights and the weights, and then for someone like me, you get to stand next to somebody, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah.
Like I said, Yamamoto is. I was taller than him. There is no doubt about that. So he's not 5'9".
I ran into him in the Ford Hall. I remember a couple times, and I thought he was a kid missing from his school field trip. Like I was ready to help this little guy because he was really nice when I recognized him. I said, "Hey, you're doing great," and he was like, "Really?" He said, "Oh, thank you so much." But
right, a side note, who when I interviewed and met was incredibly slight and really wasn't much bigger than me in terms of build, and like I'm not built at all. I mean, obviously they're slender with the muscle, right? But he was not like a big, thick guy, even though he played rugged. Was Chris Russell?
Oh, really?
Like, did you ever see Chris Russell outside of hockey gear?
No.
Yeah, and he looked really different because he'd usually have like a vest on, and he had like kind of thick rimmed glasses. Yeah. And you'd see him leaving after practice, and a couple times I was like, "Who's that?" And it was like, "Oh, that's Chris Russell,
the Cowboy,
going home after practice." So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, 12:30. I want to talk, guys, about the Oilers' penalty kill. So last night, it sucked, I guess. Well, Seattle was 2 for 6, so they did kill some off. The Oilers got into penalty trouble. They were down 5-on-3. They got a 5-on-3 goal. They're changing it. Knobloch's talked about changing it. From what I've seen in the preseason, they're not doing that where it's like, okay, kind of rush a point man a little bit and try to angle him and force the puck down low. It seems to be a little bit more passive. I know you guys have been on and off watching some of the stuff, but were they doing a system that was getting picked apart? Is it just time to freshen it up with the personnel, or how do you guys look at this?
Well, this is again limited of seeing what this year. I think I've only watched one power or PK, and it did look somewhat passive, but I kind of equated it to just a bunch of guys because they had guys that had never played the PK before together, right? So, but it kind of mirrored what I saw last year in the sense that it seemed to be a step behind a little bit. And that, again, a lot of times when you haven't played with one another and you have that's obviously they probably talked about it, but when you can get the puck into certain situations, there's a lot of times there's an automatic, okay, this guy's going here, and you're reading off the reaction of that first checker, right? And shutting everything off. And it just seemed like the decision making was, I don't want to make a mistake too, right? I'm just kind of make it look like I'm working really hard and have my stick and active and things like that. They're working harder, not smarter. But going back to a few years ago, you would look at that PK and it was rabid dogs on a bone where they were jumping and the three other guys were reading so clearly off that first checker and eliminating anything right away. It's almost, a little bit of clairvoyance on a PK is quite valuable, I think. But it's just reading and reacting. And the bottom line, goalie has to be good, and it's 4 guys working harder than 5.
Right.
Oh, where to start? Haven't seen enough of it yet. To have like a fully formed judgment where we can say one way or the other, right? Like it hasn't been enough. Got to see it in the regular season, and we got to give it 10 games in the regular season. That's the point. 10 games in the regular season, see how it does. But I'm not going to lie, gentlemen, an ultra passive penalty kill terrifies me. Mm-hmm. It terrifies me. And in that first goal that we saw, the Seattle score yesterday was like a perfect example of what terrifies me about it. Is that you're kind of out there wiggling your stick and kind of trying to pressure. The players in the NHL are so good and so skilled, and that's where some teams revert to having no pressure or toward sitting back and just collapsing straight down because they're like, oh, they're too skilled. If we put any kind of pressure, they're going to beat us with a pass, beat us with 2 passes, and the puck's in the back of our net. And I understand that. But that is basically telling me what that tells me, what going to ultra passive tells me is we don't trust our defensemen ultimately, because in a passive penalty kill is to take pressure off your D. That's what passive penalty killing does. It takes pressure off your D because your forwards are lower, they're in tighter, and they're there to help in a collapse situation, help around the front of the net, help coverage guys in the slot. Like you're trying to eliminate or limit the defenseman's ability to make mistakes. That's what you're trying to do in a passive penalty kill, in my opinion. Some coaches may disagree. That's fine. That's how I see it. In aggressive penalty kills, everyone has to be on the same page. Your defensemen have to be mobile and they have to be smart. They have to think, right? Because it's one go, all go. And so if you look at that high pressure, like trying to push to the side, that only works if everyone is on the same page. Now, there was way too often that they just weren't on the same page last year because it's one go, all go. And you have to deny the puck moving through the middle of the ice at the point, or if it does, you have to push it down the wall every single time. And so I when I hear they're changing it and they're changing it, like now if they were changing it, they're saying, hey, we're going to try to be more aggressive, I'd be like, more power to you. You're putting some faith in your defensemen and let's go. Let's see what happens. But this tells me they don't have that confidence in their defensemen's ability to kill penalties effectively. Now, maybe ultimately that's a good thing. Maybe they need to have it more passive because the defensemen need some help and they're not capable of doing it. But at the end of the day, I think you with passive penalty kills, you settle for marginal. You're never going to be a top penalty killing team when you're passive. You're just going to be marginal, average at best. Like you're not crossing that top half of the league. You're not. You're going to sit. Hopefully, if you can passively kill well, you're going to kind of be just average compared to everyone else. So you're going to be like 15, 16, 17, 18 in the league, in that range. You're not maybe going to be at the bottom, but you're going to be in that middle range. And again, maybe that's what they're hoping for. Maybe that's what they're hoping for. Sorry to go on a rant, guys, but I hate passive penalty kills. So it irks me if that's the direction that they're going, because your top penalty kills, just look at them. Look at your top penalty kills in the league. Watch those teams the last number of years. Watch those teams penalty kill. They're not passive and sitting back. They're not. You have to be aggressive and take away time and space because players ultimately are too skilled, right? Because if you're too passive, give guys too much time and space, they're going to burn you. Now, if you're not properly aggressive, well, they're still going to make good plays and they're going to burn you. But I like a team's chances of killing penalties when you're trying to take away time and space versus just giving it up and sagging and sitting back. So again, maybe this is preemptive because we haven't seen what it looks like yet fully in the regular season. But it just terrifies me. Now, and maybe I'm completely off kilter and I shouldn't be terrified because their penalty kill was so awful last year that you needed to change it to something passive because they just don't have the personnel to do it. But penalty killing for me, again, it's one of, you can teach it. Like this is one of the areas you can teach, you can coach, you can X's and O this thing to death. And I just feel not enough teams do that at times. They focus on the power play in practice all the time. Power play gets all the time in pregame skates. Your power play gets all the practice time. And penalty killers are forced to be out there with your sticks turned over, just getting absolutely freaking lit up. And to me, from a coaching standpoint, there's a part of my brain that maybe it's just a defensive reptilian, dinosaur that's not an offensive player, gifted offensive player that was on the power play. But I'm like, why not freaking work on the penalty kill? And if you're doing that, why not work on it being aggressive and taking away time and space? So I'll stop here, guys. I could keep going, but I don't know. It terrifies me. It terrifies me. And with what I saw yesterday, the 5-on-3, whatever. I mean, you're so disadvantaged in that. Whatever. I don't care about that one. But the other goal where it was just like a lagging, sit back, passive type of mistake that terrifies me. But again, their penalty kill was so horrible last year that maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I'm just grumpy.
Well, no, it's fine. Grumpiness is good. It's healthy. So, but the one thing I noticed, Cass, yesterday, and again, we got to always say it's preseason. It's not the same intensity and maybe not even the same personnel. But I did feel a couple times like a Seattle player was, say, at the top of the circle. A couple little stick handles. He moves in 2 feet, passes off, gets it back. A couple little stick handles. It's almost like they were just slowly. And then when they went across for a one-timer, instead of it being from right at the blue line, it's now between the top of the circles, and the Oilers might have thought, It's like, oh, we're keeping them outside. Well, yeah, but the outside's getting closer to the inside the way they're shrinking you in.
Yeah, the box starts to shrink, and it's like there's always a time to collapse, and that's when the puck goes towards the net. Yeah, you collapse. First steps back to the net every single time. Straight lines every single time. Supposed to be, anyways. But that's the problem with passive is you give good, skilled players space. What are they going to do? They're going to take space. Like if you had Bouchard, like you think about the Edmonton Oilers penalty kick or power play. Like if you give Bouchard or McDavid the space at the top of the circle and you say, hey, you don't have to stand at the blue line. Guess what, Bouch? You can skate into the top of the circles. And now you guys can start to pass it. Like, are you kidding me? Now as a goalie and defenseman, Bouchard isn't not one-timing it from the blue line. Like he's blasting it from the tops of the circles or McDavid or Nuge or Dry or whoever. Like it's just like you're going to look at that and go like, ooh, that doesn't seem like a very good idea when I actually think about it. And so that's where passive just doesn't work. If you execute it well, again, the best you will be is a middling average power play league wide. You have to take away time and space defensively. You have to. And playing too passive is just, it terrifies me.
So how much, and a couple people brought this up in the chat. I mean, it's not a direct comparable 1 year to the next because McLeod killed penalties.
Yeah.
Fogel killed sometimes, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they were two of the faster players on the team. When they were on fire in the 24 postseason, and you talked about reading off each other, like Janmark and Brown sometimes seemed like they were in the other team's heads. And Janmark, you know, they're not, like he and Brown can skate. They're not. Yeah. So how much was this? They lost a couple guys, maybe a couple other guys that killed, you know, got older and maybe weren't quite as quick.
The one advantage, like you mentioned, with Fogel and McLeod were that they could force a little bit more up ice because they have the ability to get back with then use their skating, right? So you could almost the clear entries of other teams were just they were giving up the blue line. But just going back to the passive versus aggressive penalty kill as a goal, I loved when I played on teams with aggressive penalty kills because, again, one goes, all go. Usually in certain situations, you know which guy's probably going to be open, right? Yep. And so, okay, well, that's the only guy that's open. And if they make the play, like they have to make the play, first of all, to get it to the open guy, you know where it's going. So those three, but the puck's not quite there. It's going to go back to this guy and he's going to have a chance. Like I knew that was what was coming. With the passiveness, again, they're picking you apart. They start moving down further to develop something. So yeah, as a goaltender, it's weird because usually the chance that you give up is a really good chance. But saying that, that's the chance that you expect them to right. take.
You know it's coming.
If there is a breakdown after everyone's on that same page.
Yeah. Right. I got a question for you on this, Gager, because and I played on some teams, and mostly in the minors. I didn't get the penalty kill in the NHL as much, which actually disappoints me because I was pretty darn good at it. But I was too slow, would have been their argument. But I thought, well, so Kevin Constantine, I did lots of stories about him and coaching and things I did not appreciate and did not like and have issues and challenges and all kinds of emotional scarring and trauma from. But learned a buttload about penalty killing. And the mindset was always with what you said, Gager, is because when a power play executes, you're going to give something up. Yeah. So Constantine's mindset was always, and we always had among the best top of the league penalty kills, was always very specific in if we are giving something up, this is what we're giving up. And the point of those power or penalty kills was always we will give up the short side one-timer. And what I mean by that is a play from the corner to somewhere between the dot and the tops of the circles on the same side for one-timer. So, and typically, for most teams, because more guys are left-handed, that means that on the, the goalie's blocker side, because most goalies are right-handed, goalie's blocker side, you are giving up the play from the goal line to the tops of the circles for a one-timer. That was the give up. Now, the justification, and he would say this, is because for the goaltender, The goalie knows every time that if you're trying to give up something and they execute well, that's what they're going to execute into. And the goalie knows that he has to push off the post, and he's going from an angle standpoint. He's shifting angle from the post to, we'll call it that dot lane. And the whole thought was you don't ever want to give up anything cross ice, because then the goalie to adjust has to push all the way across, right? And so it was every time, and it was if they get the puck here and he beats the goalie, oh well, he beats the goalie. That's on the goalie then in that instance, because the goalie knows it's coming. But everything was designed to force pucks out of the middle of the ice, to force shots out of the middle of the ice, defensemen not shooting from the middle of the ice, to push it down the wall to give up that play. Because it was like, okay, well, hey, if the goalie has to move 3 inches to adjust and to set himself for that shot, we're going to give that up instead of anything across crease and anything across the ice. So my question for you, Gager, is just even knowing that, to say, if you as a goalie, if the coach came to you and said, hey, your responsibility on the penalty kill, like if you get beat, if we give up something across crease, backdoor tap, and obviously there's nothing you can do on that. That's on us if we do it. But how would you feel about if we're giving up a play, we're giving up a short side, like strong side, you're already on that post, strong side one-timer from the goal line to, we'll call it the tops of the circle. So you don't have to move much. Like, as a goalie, I want to hear what would go through your head in thinking through that responsibility, or if that's reasonable, or if that's even what you'd want.
We would take that every chance we got if that was the play that was opened up, depending on the power play you're playing against too, right? Because everyone's got the subtle variations or whatever. But if that's the shot you're giving up, the low to high play from there with, not having to go east-west completely, there's so much you can do as a goaltender. Like it's one push, and I don't, depending on how the guys are, I hate when they go into the reverse VH when the puck's below the goal line there, because then it makes it even simpler, where it's one push to the tops of the circle, and by doing that, you can automatically just take away the short side too. Like you're eliminating the pass across, and you can eliminate any goals literally going short side on you by taking that away first, right? If it's a one-timer, he's shooting quick, the only way he can beat you is going far side. So you already know that. You're already positioning yourself. I don't even have to move my push out. I'm taking away the short side. It's going to hit me. All I have to worry about is if that thing goes far side and I have to make a save. Yeah, I'm taking that. If you're having I never really had a coach talk to me about what kind of shots I would like to stop on the PK. It was just stop the bloody puck. But I'd wonder. I'm sure there's more involvement from goaltenders, but I wonder if, because I've never seen it, I've never had it, but the people that are responsible for the PK, do they discuss things with the goaltenders on what they're doing or what they would like to see? Sometimes I give feedback to obviously my teammates and stuff. Like I never wanted guys to get tied up in front and battling in front with guys, right? Because you're just eliminating yourself, right? I'd always say stay loose. Puck comes, then control sticks. It's pointless to get into a physical battle with a guy when the puck's over in the corner anyways, right? And then allow me, if there is an opportunity, give me some time to try to locate the puck and freeze it if there's a rebound. That was on me.
Hired or fire it for GS Construction. For over 50 years, GS Construction has been proud to serve our communities and work alongside incredible people. Every member of their team has their own story, but they all share one thing in common, a passion for the work we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca today. Gage your hiring that all PKs should cater to him as the goaltender. Very good. Hire it or fire it. I can't remember if you guys have talked about this before. I've talked about it with Jay and with Strud yesterday. I'll tell you in advance, I'm firing it. Leon and Connor out late in a penalty kill for the Edmonton Oilers. Huge fire for me.
Are you up a goal or down a goal?
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's the thing. Okay, but I think you just told me why it should be fired in general. Because they think offense when they're on the ice, even if they are in
fire in general. I would generally fire it. Situationally hire it. If you're down a goal late and you're on the PK and I'm throwing them out.
Yeah, sure. like last year against LA when they were down 5-1 or 5-2, and he started putting Connor out.
I'm firing it. They shouldn't even come. Leon, maybe to go take a draw once in a while, right? Depending on the situation, maybe.
Yeah.
But other than that, firing it, they should not see the PK.
I just think let the guys who are employed to block shots and kill penalties do it. Give them a sense of pride in it.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing.
And because I like, if Connor McDavid is on the ice, his priority is to score a goal. And Leon is kind of in the same mindset, though I know he wants to win the Selke, but he wants to grind you down and get the puck so he can go score a goal.
I think he means Silky. He wants to be the Silky Award.
Yeah, and I just think, okay, so other guys have worked hard to kill off a minute 35. You're going to put these two guys out on for the last 25 seconds. So Rasmus Anderson is nervous handling the puck at the blue line. Yeah. So Josh Morrissey doesn't think he can make a crisp pass because I know I'm being a little cheeky and exaggerating, but like I just don't like that. Do the job. Let the people who are doing the job. You know, if there are guys who are employed to do that, those 25 seconds of ice time are precious to them.
Yeah.
Let them finish. Like if it's not okay, if they can't do the job, you might have to use Leon and Connor. I don't know if I like that out of the gate, if he does indeed decide to go with that out of the gate.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that continuity of the team of responsibilities throughout the whole lineup, not just Connor and Leon. Okay, those guys are out there. I guess they take care of everything for us, right? Other players need responsibility and purpose within the team to feel important.
Yeah. But we'll see what they actually do when the season starts now I hope the Oilers get a penalty like 30 seconds into their first game. That's what I'm hoping for, everybody. Penalty in the first minute. Who's on the PK? What style do they employ? And do Connor and Leon go out to finish it off?
I'll say it right now. Darnell Nurse has taken a penalty within the first 5 minutes. He's also scoring. He's going to get a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Against Calgary. You already called that. Well, who's he going to fight? Anderson?
Probably Kadri.
Dustin Wolf.
Just jumps Dustin Wolf. Hey, Wolfie, how's that new contract working out for you? All right, hired or fired. Well, this is not an either or. Hired or fired, best big league, Major League Baseball stadium you visited or baseball watching experience. I guess it could be a minor league stadium. There's some fun ones maybe around where you guys lived at some point.
I would have to go. I've never been to a Major League ballpark. I'd have to say Durham. The Durham Bulls.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Was Kevin Costner there?
I looked for him. Wasn't there?
No.
Neither was Susan. So wasted trip.
Is this a teammates trip or?
No, I was
Gage
down in
and
Raleigh
family?
playing,
Okay.
and so I was. I went out to see it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Gager, did you get to go?
I've sort of. I've seen a bunch of majors. There's some great stadiums. It was a ton of fun. I mean, it's not majors, but my brother-in-law was a pitcher at Southern Miss in college.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
And so got to go watch some college ball there at their stadium. That was pretty fun. Lots of fun in Mississippi. From a major standpoint, got to go watch a game at Wrigley. That was fun.
Oh.
It was while I was playing, and I can't actually remember if it was with Minnesota or Ottawa. But we had a day off, and so a bunch of the guys we went. It was freezing. It was cold that day. Like, it was not a warm day to be watching. But it was like, hey, chance to go to Wrigley, kind of see an old school major league stadium. That was pretty awesome. So it was a ton of fun. So got to go watch the game there. That was a blast.
Mine, I think I've been to 9 or 10 stadiums, so not a ton, but I've been lucky to go to a few games. Probably almost 10 years ago now, when Onright was working for Fox in California, we went to an Angels game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in the afternoon, and it was so hot. And I mean, I know Jay was living down there, but he's still a guy from Athabasca, from northern Alberta, as we are. Well, now you are, Gager. And we were so uncomfortably hot. And we were like, hey, we gotta. So the water guy comes by, and we're like, he's selling to people, and we're like, oh my God, is there gonna be like, we're just dying. And he got to us, and he's like, I got 2 drinks left, a water and like a red Gatorade. And we're like, whatever, we'll take them. So I got the red Gatorade. And then eventually the sun moved, and the last half of the game we were more comfortable. But I was wearing shorts, and my knees and the lower part of my thigh were as red as Gager's cup for about 3 months. It was so hot, and I guess somehow my legs were exposed to the sun, because my arms didn't get that burned, but above my about 4 inches above my knees, and maybe 2 inches below my knees were lobster red the rest of the summer.
Oh, that's great.
Oh.
You know what? I'm surprised Tommy hasn't messaged in yet and isn't saying, Reed, you could have pulled him up a little bit more and it would have been good for you.
Yeah.
Get that full tanning, Groundhog Day thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We got. I assume people know I asked that because we got the triple header of baseball games today. What do we got here? Right away, Tigers, Guardians. Eric Sabrowski, the Edmonton kid, pitched a scoreless inning yesterday for the Guardians. I think he had a walk and a strikeout.
Oh, nice.
Padres, Cubs at 3 Mountain, and then Red Sox, Yankees is at 6 Mountain. So that'll be a fun one. And the winner of that series plays the Blue Jays. So it'll be a fun day. Cass, always good to see you. I'm sorry I called you Gage, or at least I called you someone who was in the room. I didn't call you a Brownie or something like that.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah. Gager, you're sticking around?
I guess I am, yeah.
EST Afternoons with Salas and Gager coming up. I'm Reed in for Dustin Nielson today. I'll talk to you on my show at 3 o'clock. Thanks for checking out Two Guys and a Goalie for GS Construction.